I am live and I have only 6 days left to my book launch. The most exciting thing about my memoir book launch is that when I started writing my memoir 3 years ago, I didn't even know anything about having a book launch. I knew nothing uh, about promoting a book, and I hired someone to help me. It was actually a girlfriend who reached out to me and said that she had experience with book launches, and if I wanted to, I could she'd give me an hour of her time. And well, she didn't say an hour, but she said she'd have a Zoom call with me and give me some advice. So I went on that Zoom call with her and I had so much fun talking to her, and it was so exciting that I was like, "Oh my gosh, I can't live without this woman on my side and on my team." So I ended up hiring her, and now it's been over a year and a half since I hired her. So that means my memoir has been done for over a year and a half. But then I had to add stuff because then I got a major surgery, and then my relationship ended, and my long-term relationship with someone who's in my book. So I had to add more chapters because I ended up taking like over a year after my book was finished to actually launch it. So it's been a long time coming and I'm super excited. 6 days, I really am like, I've got like a huge long list of stuff to do. And that's just one page. I've got another page. And I'm just trying to knock those things off a little bit at a time. So that's really, really exciting. I'm going to finally release my tell all book. And you're going to know all my secrets. Not all my secrets. I mean, I don't think a book that small could be filled with all my secrets. Just kidding. I don't have that many secrets. I'm having kind of a good day. I was so tired this morning. So I was like, oh, I hope I'm not coming down with something. I don't want to get sick for book launch day. So I'm definitely going to make sure I'm taking good care of myself and taking it easy between now and Tuesday. I am taking donations if anyone can help me with the expenses of the book launch. It's not just the expenses of the actual launch, which has been expensive, but also because I'm so busy with the launch and I'm going to be missing opportunities to work and make money at work. So it's going to be actually a bit of a might be a bit of a tight month depending on how many sales I get from my launch. We'll see. But if you would like to donate to help me in any way, please let me know. You can just reach out. Otherwise, the most important thing is I want to see you at the launch. I keep calling it the book launch, but it's really actually a panel. It's called The War on Erotic Entrepreneurs, a Working Class Crisis. And Susan Davis will be there talking about the different ways in which sex industry workers are excluded from society, even though we're told in Canada that we're not criminalized. We're still treated like we're criminals. For instance, it's hard to maintain housing. Like you can just be kicked out of your housing as a sex worker if it's found out. You can also be kicked out of your bank. You can be debanked. I like that word. I don't know why, but it's just perfect word to call what's happening. People getting debanked. And that's happening with sex workers. And I've heard it's also happening with people who express dissident political opinions. So I think our governments are getting, in Canada and in other places in the world, are just getting more and more tyrannical. It's insane. I remember reading 1984, George Orwell's 1984, and there are so many similarities between like their truth commission and the fact checking that goes on now. And like, it's just, anyway, I'm getting off topic. Also at the book launch, Velvet will be there talking about art and wellness for sex workers, which is incredible. Cinder Star will be there. Cinder performed at my birthday. Velvet was my MC at my birthday. If you were there, you will remember. And Cinder performed at my birthday. Cinder is going to be talking on the panel about male sex workers, which a lot of people like to pretend they don't exist, but they do. and then I will be talking about my book, not specifically like, you know, talking about something about my book. Oh my gosh, I've changed my mind so many times about what I'm actually going to say, and that's why I can't really give you an idea. I haven't finished writing. I haven't actually written that presentation yet. I've only just kind of written notes about what I think I might want to talk about. So I actually believe in God, not like a Christian God, but I actually really have thrown myself deeply into learning and studying something called non-dual Shiva Tantra. And actually, I was just talking in a thread today on Facebook with one of my friends about that, because he suggested that I was very Buddhist seeming. And I said, well, I actually do consider myself kind of a Buddhist. I don't know at what point you can consider yourself a Buddhist. I've never gone to any kind of Buddhist training or church or anything like that, but I've just done a lot of reading and praying and meditating based on the non-dual Shiva Tantra philosophy, which is about non-dual means that we are not separate from God. We're not separate from God. We're not separate from each other. We're not separate from the microphone, the computer, the camera, the ground, the flowers. I mean, I used to be able to believe that all living things were connected, but I couldn't believe that rocks and beds and forks and the solid seeming matter was something that we're connected to. But non-dual Shiva Tantra teaches no, every single thing is all made up of the same God energy. It's all energy moving at different rates and expressing God, expressing its himself, herself, itself through the manifestation of whatever it is. So I'm expressing, God is expressing itself through me as Annie Temple, and God is expressing itself through the microphone and everything. And we're just all completely connected. And then to imagine God more as like, and the awareness. So when you think about your awareness, what are you aware of? So first you think you're like, well, I'm aware of my thoughts in my head. Oh, I'm aware of my fingers touching my face. I'm aware of my hair being kind of moved by the breeze. And then you start to think, what else am I aware of? I'm aware of the noise in the other room and the cars driving on the street. And then even the things that you can't hear or see, are you aware of it? Are you aware of the mountains that are surrounding the building that you're living in? Are you aware of the sky? Are you aware of the other continents that are on Earth? What are you aware of? So when you think of your awareness, it's massive. It is massive. And it encompasses everything. So non-dual Shiva Tantra really goes into that whole thing of God is awareness. And at first I didn't understand God is awareness. I don't understand. But then when it was explained, like I just explained it to you, it started to make more sense to me, because my awareness is not just mine. It's way bigger than me. It's so big, and I'm inside of it. And that makes more sense for the kind of God that I understand. The God as I understand it to be is all encompassing. And if as an expression of God, I live and then I die, and it's just a part of the progression of God experiencing itself through us. All of the emotions that we experience, all of the challenges that we experience, the good, the bad, all of it is this wondrous, incredible opportunity for God to experience the world through another way, another person or another animal or another object. And I don't know. That's just, it might sound kind of like, whoa, weird, but this is the kind of stuff that just really moves me and makes me feel more connected to everyone and able to see the light of God in each person. I mean, I'm not really like, I can't say I'm a Christian. I did start with the Christian Bible when my daughter was inside, my oldest daughter. So she's 24 now. So this must have been about 25 years ago. Her dad was a Christian, and one of my girlfriends, who was also an ex-dancer, she had started going to church and she invited me. And I knew that my daughter would be raised with some Christian ideals because of her dad, and I wanted to learn more about it. So I went to church and I started reading the Bible. And I had been an atheist before that. And what happened for me was it was mostly the reading of the Bible. And I think that's just, for me, reading has always been my best way to become a better person and to learn. And so reading the Bible, as much as there was a lot of stuff in there, I was like, "What, WTF?" You know, like when what's his name? The guy who who got in the boat, Noah's Ark, when Noah woke up drunk and got mad at his sons because they saw him drunk and naked. That's in the Bible. That was like one of the stories that I thought, and that's the guy God decided to save. So, there's a lot of stuff, not just that, obviously, that are in the Bible that I'm like, WTF. But there were other things, especially at like the beginning of the New Testament, that were very moving. I'm not sure how to describe it, but when I was reading a lot of those words, it was like reading a book by Wayne Dyer, by someone who is just spiritually gifted and can help you feel more spiritual. The wording was like ancient. It was different. It wasn't the kind of thing you would normally read. Wayne Dyer doesn't write like the Bible, obviously, because it is ancient. But there were just stories and feelings that came to me when I was reading it that brought me to an understanding and a sincere, I don't want to say belief, but a knowing that there is a God. And that started me on my own journey of believing in a higher power. And I call it God just because it's easiest, but it's almost bad that I do that because I know a lot of people have a horrible reaction to the word God because of how Christianity has affected them, or Catholicism, etc. I had a bad experience in church. Actually, I was going to church for a little while, and this is in my memoir. I went to a new church with a girlfriend and my little girl. She was 2 at the time, I think, and it was a new church, and 2 other people were in it, came along with the 4 of us. So it was my friend, her husband, me, my little one, and then 2 people, a man and his wife. And that man used to be a regular customer at the Tudor Inn where I was a stripping waitress. And so I knew him, and I never had a problem with him, and they didn't have private dancing back at the Tudor Inn or anything like that at the time. So there was nothing. I only ever saw him just come into the bar, and he would make jewelry sometimes and give it to a stripper. So I just thought, oh yeah, nice guy. After church, my friends invited me and my little one to go for breakfast with them. And so the other couple went. So it was 2 couples, me and my little one, 6 of us. We all went for breakfast, and then I went home. Well, a few hours later, my phone rings, and it's my girlfriend. And she's like, has this weird kind of sound in her voice. And she's like, "Annie, do you know that there's naked pictures of you on the internet?" And my stomach dropped. This was like, what year was this? Like 2000. And oh no, like 2002. And I had posed for $100 an hour for as a nude model for a photographer in 1997 when I had first started dancing. I didn't have a computer. I didn't know anything about internet. To me, it seemed like something way out there that no one would ever see. But what happened is the guy, the regular from the strip club that was at this church with his wife, had found those pictures of me. Sorry about that. Had found those pictures of me on the internet, printed them up, brought them to church, and showed them to my friend's husband. So, I mean, like, that's not, obviously, I know people have had some really traumatic experiences at the hands of church and God-fearing individuals and stuff, and that's nothing compared to what I'm sure a lot of people have been through. But I get that. I need to turn that ringer off. I get that it's a thing, that people who say they believe in God are not always good people, which is sad. And they'll do some effed up things. But I mean, at the same time as saying that, not that I want to say it's okay what he did or what some people do, but I'm not perfect. I've done a lot of effed up things too. So I always try to remind myself of that when I start judging others. Like my kids, whenever my kids have come up to me and said, "Mom, I have something to tell you and I'm so scared I can't tell you. I can't tell you. You're going to be mad or you're going to be disappointed in me or whatever." And I always think to myself, they're way too young to have made the kinds of mistakes I've made. There's no way that they've done something worse than some of the things I've done. And so I'll say that to them. I'll say, "I've probably done something worse. Don't worry. You can tell me. And I won't judge you, and we'll find a way to figure it out and work it out." And that was so important to me because of some of the experiences I had in my life when I was young that I was really too scared to talk to my mother about. And so I really wanted to be the kind of mother that my kids would feel safe to come and talk to me about anything. So, but I was talking about God. So that was my experience with the Christianity, and but that was how I kind of brought God into my life. And then my next kind of iteration of believing in God came when I read a book called "There's a Spiritual Solution to Every Problem" by Dr. Wayne Dyer. And I love that man. I really wish I would have gotten to see him or meet him in person before he died. He changed my life in a very dramatic way, more than the Bible did. Although the Bible and just recognizing there was a God did have a very big impact in my life. When I read Wayne Dyer's words, what Wayne Dyer does in that book is he takes like all the religions and then he finds the commonalities, the threads that are common, and the powerful things that are in many different religions, but could just be considered spiritual. And he puts them all into that book and he taught me in that book how to take control of my thoughts, how to let go of control of the people and situations around me, how to look at life and the world in a completely different way, and to see God as energy. That's when I started seeing God as energy. That was a huge shift for me. And then more recently, in the last few years, I got interested in Tantra, is how it happened. I got interested in Tantra, and it happened with another book. I ordered an audiobook called Tantra Illuminated. What is the name of the guy? I can't think of it right now. Chris something. It's just on the tip of my tongue. Anyway, Tantra Illuminated. Such an incredible book. That book is about non-dual Shiva Tantra and about how we are not separate from each other. We are not separate from God. We're not separate from anything. We're all just, and it just puts things into perspective when I'm feeling like I'm overwhelmed by my book launch or by the things that are going on in my life, like my relationship ending or my child being upset about something or anything, that this is the beauty of existence, that we can feel all of these emotions, including sorrow. And sorrow can be really sweet. It can almost feel good. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, or if you feel I've ever felt this way, but it's like when you're in deep, deep sorrow and grief, that feeling is another form of love. And if you can recognize that and allow yourself to just be in that grieving, painful, beautiful, amazing feeling, you only feel that if you've had great love. You only go through great grief if you've had great love. And so you can be grateful for the love that you've had, and you can be grateful for the hardship that you're going through in those moments. And sometimes I would feel like with this non-dual Shiva Tantra, well, if we're all just expressions of God, or God experiencing itself through us, then what's so special about me or anyone else? Like, why should anyone think that they're special? And why should we feel like we have the right to get upset over shit or anything? And the truth is that because we have the ability to experience those emotions, and because God is experiencing itself through us, we need to embrace and be grateful for our existence and the opportunity to feel everything and experience everything that we can and that is possible to us in our existence. Obviously, that's not easy. It's not easy to feel grateful when we lose somebody that we fucking love. And it's not easy to be grateful when we're lying in a hospital bed and told we have to have another surgery, or missing a special occasion with a loved one because we're too sick, or someone we care about is hurt and there's nothing we can do about it. Like the girl that was attacked in Kelowna, that's the same age as my youngest daughter. Like, I can't even watch the videos because it just hurts me so much. And as much as I am grateful that I am alive and able to feel that kind of pain, I just don't want to put myself through it. And that's part of, I think, that the spiritual growth that I have gained is that when something really hurts me, if I can push it out of just push it away so it's not affecting me, then I will, because it affects my health. It affects my emotions, my anxiety, my ability to allow my child to have a life. And I can't live in fear. And so I've had to learn how to control my thoughts and my beliefs, and trust that there is this higher power that is maybe not, making everything happen in my life, because I'm not sure how I feel about that whole destiny thing. I feel more like the choices that we make do lead to what happens in our life. And that's why everything happens for a reason. Everything happens for a reason because of the choices that we make, or the choices our parents make, or the choices that other people made or make that impact us, and the choices we make that impact us. And the only power we really have is over ourselves, how we think and what we do with our own lives. And we can't control anyone else. And realizing that because God is experiencing itself through each and every one of us, when someone is behaving in a way that I don't agree with or that I think is wrong, I have to try to remember that that's their journey. And that's why sometimes I feel like when we're in relationships, especially long-term relationships, and people grow apart, a lot of the time it's because one person has grown spiritually and the other person has maybe not. They're just stuck in their cycle, or they're stuck in their loop, and they're not growing. They keep going back. They start to grow and then they go back, and then they start to grow and then they go back. And I think we all do that to a certain degree, of course. But at some point, we have to let go of the people that are holding us back from our own spiritual course, or our own journey, our own path of what we're supposed to experience in life. And what are we supposed to experience? Well, I feel we're supposed to experience our full purpose if possible. My whole life since I was a child, I knew I should write. I knew it was what I loved to do the most. I knew that it's something that I have a natural ability to do. And I didn't do it out of fear, out of thinking that I would never be able to make a living off of it. And no one would ever read my books, and no one would ever want to hear what I have to say, or, who do I think I am? Why would I think I'm so special that anyone would want anything from me? and a lot of that held me back, you know. I mean, I'm 50 years old now, and I've just started to really live my purpose in the last few years. And some of that is because of my health issues, and some of that is because I was a busy mom. And I mean, there's so many reasons, right? But if I had really embraced my purpose when I knew what it was as a young woman, then I would have found a way to keep it up all the way through it all, you know. I kind of went off on a little spiritual tangent today. I blame Mitch. Mitch, if you're watching, I blame you for getting me talking about non-dual Shiva Tantra. I highly recommend the book Tantra Illuminated. And the book There's a Spiritual Solution for Every Problem by Dr. Wayne Dyer. I really, really, really hope that I will see you at my event on Tuesday. I keep calling it my event. It's not my event. It's a panel. It's actually an event put on by the BC Coalition of Experiential Communities, which is a group of sex industry workers from different parts of the industry, gender friendly, like we're all the genders and all the sex work types in this group, former and current, and we all are very committed to helping sex workers have health and safety in their work. And health and safety comes also from being financially, you know, secure. So there's a lot of elements to that. We're going to be talking about that kind of stuff at the panel. Then we're going to have a networking mixer afterwards. It's just going to be a short discussion and then mostly some socializing. And we'll be live streaming it. So set your calendar for Tuesday, October 22nd. And if you can and you want to, buy my book, buy my paperback book on Amazon that day. You can get it from my website, annietemple.com, and you'll get a free audiobook. And because you're purchasing on that day, you will help me become a bestseller. I'm trying to get as many people as I can to purchase on the same day to help me become a bestseller for my memoir called How Sex Work Shaped My Life. So I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for all of you, those who decided to listen to my big, long talk today about my spiritual journey. And I honestly look forward to meeting some of you and seeing some of you. And yeah, I love you. Have a wonderful Thursday. Happy Friday Eve.